let's talk about Kyle Shanahan's offense. What the hell happened to it? Where is it?
Yeah. So big picture, we're talking the macro. This boils down to Kyle Shanahan having an outdated offensive mindset where you're run first, great defense, run first. That's old. That's old school, right? You need to at least have a balanced offense that has a passing game. I prefer passing heavy games, but if you don't have a balanced offense and you fall behind, all of a sudden you need to turn into a passing offense. And that's what we saw yesterday. They tried to turn into a passing offense all of a sudden because their whole mindset is we got to get up big, we got to stop turnovers, we got to run the ball, time of possession. But when that doesn't happen, and it's going to happen often, now you got to be a passing offense all of a sudden, which is not something you've done all year or in the last several years. So Kyle really needs to focus his offense on a passing game moving forward. I don't know if there's something they can fix this year, but he's really got to change his whole offensive philosophy. And I think that's the biggest problem with all of this. I think I saw online that he's 0-24 when he's down by 4 points going into the fourth quarter.
And 26.
0-26. I mean, that's
like a Matt Rule stat. That's like a Matt Rule. It just shows you that he's been getting carried by his defense since he became a head coach.
Yeah. So if he's not winning going into the fourth quarter, you might as well turn the game off. It's over.
And why? Because his offense is terrible in the fourth quarter. And almost even in Atlanta. What happened in the Super Bowl? They scored no points in the fourth quarter. And people blame the defense, but he's been doing this since before he got to the 49ers. How many points did they score in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter?
The Chiefs in the Super Bowl, when he was on Atlanta in the Super Bowl.
0.
In the NFC West or in the NFC Championship.
That's 0 in the fourth quarter. So his offense doesn't work in the fourth quarter. And it hasn't worked even when he was at his best. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. That means he's definitely been carried by his defense. If they win, it's because of the defense. If they lose, it's because of the offense most of the time. Also, for an offensive genius, he's had one great season. 2016 Atlanta, number 1 offense in the league. Other than that, he's had a bunch of seasons where his offense ranked bottom half in scoring, and he had his excuses, injuries or the quarterback or someone else's fault, or I was in Cleveland or whatever. But whatever, he's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
He is Lou Bega. He's Mambo number 5.
Well, and that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. It seems like he's having a hard time managing the responsibilities of a head coach and being an offensive coordinator at the same time. And so people are saying, oh, well, maybe he needs an offensive coordinator so he can just be the head coach and manage games. But that's the worst part about Kyle Shanahan is managing the game. So it's almost like he just needs to be an offensive coordinator so he can focus on that and let somebody else take the duties.
But I don't even like his offense anymore. I mean, in 2019, his offense was dazzling. It seemed cutting edge, and they would do so much, especially in the run game. There would be like 11 or 12 different concepts with blocking combinations you never seen or hadn't seen in a long time. It was like, where is this coming from? It was very impressive.
It's in Miami.
It's in Miami. Now what the Niners do is they have like maybe 3 or 4 run concepts a game in their game plan. They'll have like, the toss sweep or the toss counter, and then maybe a couple runs from the gun, and that's it. Yeah. No more jet sweep, no more end around. Why would you not do end arounds? I mean, you have Debo, but they don't do that anymore. It's just, the 4 runs, and it's just the same running backs over and over again. They don't rotate running backs anymore. There's no creativity in the run game. And then the pass game is like a million screens with the occasional slant and maybe 1 or 2 shots a game.
Yeah,
that's the whole offense. And so he'll have a little couple of wrinkles in the first half in the script. But if you survive that script and don't lose in the first half, you can see all that he's going to do. It's not that much. You can shut it down in the second half. Everyone shuts it down in the second half. And then you can, if the Niners defense is banged up or tired, you win. And then Kyle blame the defense.
Yeah, I mean, he has a run-first offense that's horrible at running.
Right now.
They're bad. Yeah,
and he can only win one way. He can only win running the ball. If they try to do what they did yesterday, they lose. Yeah. You can't have a team where there's one way to win because there's always you're never going to win a Super Bowl that way. Eventually, at some point in the season, you're going to find a team like Atlanta who shuts it down and makes you play left-handed how you don't want to play. You're done. Good teams can win in a variety of ways. Great team.
And Kyle's best scoring effort is always at the opening script in the first quarter. That's when he's strongest. After that, not a lot of scoring going down. And so if you have a bad run game, you can't make adjustments later. You don't have a passing game. You never have focused on that. All the players that you brought in were for yak and for running. He's got a big philosophical adjustment that needs to be made. And I don't even know if it can be made this year. I'm hoping. Everyone told me when I was criticizing Kyle Shanahan's offense in the beginning of the year, oh, it's early, it's going to change. Well, we've had 6 weeks now, and it hasn't gotten better, and the run game's gotten worse. And I don't know if Elijah Mitchell's just going to come in here and change that. And something else that I noticed, which is strange, something I didn't expect, the 49ers offensive line is actually pretty good in pass protection, but they're not opening up anything in the run game.
Yeah.
And that's not what I expected it to be the other way around.
I feel like no offense is underperforming more than the Niners. Like, they have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. They should be scoring lots of points. The quarterback should be looking really good, no matter who the quarterback is. Look at Geno Smith. He's got weapons. He's playing well. I'm not to take anything away from Geno, but, dude, Kyle, you have Deebo and Ayuk, and you can't score in the second half? What? You're dialing up plays for Charlie Warner and Ray McCloud. Dude, you have two of the best wide receivers in the game, and you can't figure out how to score? That's on you. Everyone else says Jimmy played well yesterday. That is 100% on you, man.
Yeah.
Calling plays for Charlie Warner. Get out of here.
Yeah,
sorry, real quick. This whole second half thing is a big, big deal because that's what Chip Kelly did here. Chip Kelly would have a nice little script, and his tempo would catch teams off guard, and they might score a little bit and look good in the first quarter or two, but it would all fall apart in the second half, and he got fired.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel like, and now Chip Kelly's offense is different, but this second half problem is pure Chip Kelly. And it's a guy who's getting out coached. Mm-hmm. Chip Kelly didn't have talent. Kyle does. And the other coach is good too. He just doesn't have a brand name like Kyle does. And he's looking, he's like, okay, you're only doing those 4 things, you're doing that. Okay, got it. All right. Got it. Okay, I'm going to do this against that and do this against that every week.
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, not only do you have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, you got George Kittle, you got Kyle Juszczyk. You drafted Danny Gray that you don't use at all. You have Jordan Wilson or Jordan Mason on the
who you don't use.
You don't use.
Why is he on the team?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then I think it was I tweeted, removed it because I forgot the one crucial part. But if you take away the Panthers game, the 49ers averaged 2.6 points in the second half all year. Mm-hmm. So if you kick a field goal, you're going to outscore the 49ers in the second half. Mm-hmm. You're just going to lose a lot of games that you shouldn't lose. The 49ers are way more talented. They're playing down, and it's hard to watch. It's frustrating.
And the common denominator is Kyle Shanahan. And he was asked today on his conference call about the second half. Why are you not scoring points in the second half? What's the common thread? He says, I don't know. I'd say the most common thread, I think, is when we struggle on third down. I feel we struggle to get points, and I think that happened definitely in this game, and that definitely happened versus Denver. So that could be some more common things. We're moving the ball decent, but we're not getting enough points, and we have to finish out and capitalize on some of these opportunities, and we have to start putting more points on the board. Okay, that's not an answer. He pointed to third down. No, we're talking about the second half. Why are you scoring points in the first half but not the second half consistently? And he said something about third down, and then he said a bunch of nothing.
He basically said they asked him why he's not scoring points, and he said because we're not scoring points.
Yeah, and we got to score points. We got that. Thank you very much. So, what is the real answer to that question?
Yeah. I think it's because of lack of focus, like on the passing game, having a balanced offense, bringing in speed guys. You design this team to be a power running team, and you don't have the people in place to have a power running game. And even if you did, it's a horrible philosophy. It's a 1970s football philosophy, and he's really got to make that adjustment. You have to have a balanced offense.
There's more, though. Why are they scoring points in the first half and not the second half? Because he's getting out coached. And that's not, he can't say, the other guys are better than me. They see my offense, they make adjustments, I don't, and then I get out coached and then we lose. It's my fault. But that's the answer. He's getting out coached. His offense is vanilla and simple. There's not a lot going on there. There's not a lot of moving parts like there used to be. So it's on him. He doesn't make the halftime adjustment. The people see his stuff. They're like, okay, we're going to do this now. And he's like, I'm just going to keep throwing the same screens I've been calling all day. And either
Yeah.
my game plan for this week is going to work or it won't. And if it doesn't work, we're going down. We're going down.
Yeah.
Like to a bad team. Atlanta, everyone's making excuses for the Niners. They're injured. Dude, Atlanta's paying for guys that are they're paying for Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. Like, they have no one on their team.
Yeah.
No, they're all kids.
One of the best measures of a coach, and we used to say this as basketball coaches too, is when you go in the locker room at halftime, how do you come out in the second half? Have you made a difference to where your team's playing better now in the second half? And with Kyle Shanahan, the answer is no. He's not. He's playing the other coaches are making the adjustments. He's not. And so that's a measure of coaching right there, and it's not looking good.
It's not looking good. And again, I think what's so interesting is we all looked at Kyle as, great play caller, designer, offensive coordinator, but we still have questions about him as a head coach. Well, we still have questions about him as a head coach, but I now have big questions about him as an offensive coordinator because, dude, you have to score points, and you have players. I feel like there's a lot of good offensive coordinators. And I know he was a big name a few years ago, but since then, a lot of guys are doing really interesting things in the league with less.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what the Giants are doing. Who are their wide receivers? I don't even know. Kyle has Debo and Ayuk and can't score. I don't know, man. Again, if his name were anything else, if he weren't a brand name, if he was just a guy with a name that people didn't know, would he have this job? I don't know. I always felt like there was a little bit of fool's gold to him. He had one good year in Atlanta, and all of a sudden he gets a lifetime contract with the 49ers. He's year 6, and he's still under 500. He just lost to Atlanta. Like, what? I'm sorry. Is this guy fool's gold? He might be.
I find it extremely ironic that this guy is known for his offense. People call him an offensive genius, and he has one of the worst offenses in the NFL. It's mind-boggling stuff.
And I rarely watch ESPN because I don't know. It's not my style. And if you watch our show, this is very non-ESPN. But I was on the plane for 5 hours today, and I didn't bring a book, so I was watching ESPN. No one talks about the 49ers when they lose. When they win, it's like, nationally, the Niners. Let's watch out for the Niners Super Bowl team when they lose. Like, where's anyone saying, hey, Kyle Shanahan was awful? Yeah, everyone's bagging on Nathaniel Hackett, right? All over the country. Oh, what a joke that guy is. Yes, but he also has a brand new quarterback who hasn't been in his system. That's never easy. And that guy's washed. And he has no weapons. Kyle has the quarterback that's been in his system for 6 years or whatever. And he has a ton of weapons. And he just scored 14 points. And no one said anything about it. Because I don't know why. He has a ton of allies in the media and who will go to bat for him forever. And when he has a game like this, everyone's like, let's talk about the Cowboys today. Or that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone, Hackett has a lot more excuses that he could go to than Shanahan does. Shanahan doesn't have any really legitimate excuses. Now you can say injured, everyone's injured or Jimmy, but
most of the injuries are on defense though.
Right. The injuries are on defense, and not having Trent Williams is definitely a loss, but pass protection has been actually pretty good. I think there was 0 sacks yesterday. That's one thing where you see Jimmy Garoppolo's improving. He's not taking very many sacks at all this year. So I don't see the line as a major problem this year like I thought it was going to be. And what he's going to say at the end of this year if he doesn't do well is, I had to go with Jimmy because Trey got hurt. See that coming. So he's going to get another year just because of that reason.